We are in the bottom left-hand corner of 2,000 Atmospheres. It's our Group A winners final for day 2. This is our blue Zerg player for Team Envy. This is DRG.
And in the top right-hand corner, he's back! Ladies and gentlemen, from Guangdong Freaks, it is SOO. And of course, I'm joking. So before anyone, is like, I can't believe Titan would say this. What an awful caster showing so much bias. Listen, I'm joking, okay? I know, and like all these players obviously are play at a much higher level than I ever will, and they are all extremely talented. But when you look at it in the vacuum compared to other pros, it's easy to make massive generalizations like that. But of course, DRG, I think his form is actually pretty consistent. I think the only thing that is very flip-floppy about him is his matchups. He's obviously, DRG's ZVT was his best matchup coming back. It has consistently looked really, really good the whole time that he's been back, really. We've never seen a point where we're saying, oh, wow, that was... DRG's ZVT didn't look that good. No, we don't usually say that. However, in other matchups, that's where we've seen some shakiness. In his Zerg vs Protoss especially, I think was his weakest for a while. That started to get better, but I still think is kind of a weak spot for him. But his ZVZ has also been able to remain pretty consistent, if not able to, keep up with the top level Zergs like Dark and Rogue, but those are also, two of the best Zerg vs Zerg players of all time.
Well, I think the nice thing here for SOO is that ZVZ's meta hasn't really evolved over the last couple of years since he made his departure to the military. So being able to come in and at least knock the rust off of his build orders and his timings, he should be able to respond rather quickly towards getting into the swing of things with how he wants to approach his ZVZ. And as we see right now, both players just going to take the slow path and just get themselves situated now where things are going to be a little different, but only by a little. I mean, the Baneling Nest is going to go down just a little bit later here for SOO. Not anything of major consequence here. SOO's focused on keeping these Zerglings alive across the map, would like to try and find some additional scouting information. If anything, he'd love to see the timing of the Baneling Nest for DRG, and he is going to be able to grab that here. So this delay not going to have any meaningful impact one way or the other.
Yeah, there are 10 lings, though, on the way here for SOO, so he's going to cut that drone production just a little bit, and even goes into, or is looking like he's going to be going into a little bit of ling pressure. 12 more now on the way, so this is going to be quite a swell here for SOO. DRG only sitting at 4 lings. SOO has not revealed this just yet. Finally, it will be seen there by DRG scouting ling, and we're going to immediately see those banelings in the production tab, additional Zerglings for the and the Zerg even gets the scout on these banelings that we're trying to morph in secret, so those will be canceled. Oh, that baneling just barely does not finish. And this is 22 more lings. This is a lot of pressure coming out from SOO. Of course, it's going to be with 3 bases behind it, but you're going to try and find at least some damage off the back of this, because if not, you've invested a lot of production into this. You don't actually have a very good drone count behind it. You're only sitting at 29 to the 37 of DRG, who's able to drone for a little bit longer with that defender's advantage. As now we're going to see the Zergling fight, and it's a little bit scrappy here. SOO not able to pick off those banelings, and look at it. It's a Roach Warren on the way for DRG. He's already preparing to get Roaches out behind holding this pressure.
Oh, this is an interesting wraparound here. The banelings do get drawn in towards each other, but now SOO's banes being segmented off from his Zerglings, as it looks like both sides are going to amicably split here. Oh, actually a really nice trade there, getting a couple of banes for the 4 banelings of DRG. So that's about as good of a response as SOO could have hoped for here, but it's going to come at the cost of one of his queens here. Lings are going to come diving on in. SOO has been incredibly conservative with his baneling count, and I felt as if with that engagement at the very beginning, that could have gone so much different, just simply because SOO never made the response banelings. He had a few building early on that you talked about kind of hiding away in the brush, but he never replaced them when DRG picked those off. It's almost as if SOO wasn't aware. Oh, he's going to lose so many of those lings just to a move command, but it's almost as if he wasn't aware that those were actually dealt with. Oh man, this is just a very, very rapid back and forth here. SOO really wants to be able to find a way to break in the front. A couple of banelings going to come waddling in from the back side here, but it seems as if SOO is going to try and disengage at this point. These banelings, more than anything, are just going to try and find some retaliatory damage if they can. They'd love to find some banelings, but even more so could find some drones here, but the queens are going to make quick work of that.
Yeah, very nice positioning there from DRG, and behind this, SOO is starting up his roach production with the +1. Has actually gotten up to a very, very healthy drone count. DRG has just now equalized it. Zergling's going to find a run by into the natural. There's already a roach here, but that's going to be quite a bit of damage going down onto this drone line. SOO, how good is your pull away? So far, very, very nice, actually. He's going to be able to limit it to just a singular drone, and behind, and other than that, he's going to be pretty happy with how little he lost there. And overall, the losses going to look pretty even. 26 lings to 23, 7 banelings to 3. The only outliers are the drone and the queen going down for SOO. As DRG, he's actually going to be varying up the build order here just a little bit. As the Gleo Reconstitution on the way, +2, as well as actually not even that far behind SOO's. But the thing is, 200 minerals, 200 gas invested in that Spire. And of course, when you invest that much money into a building, it's really a question of, am I going to get punished before this is ready? Because with that Spire coming up, ooh, okay, Baneling connection, not that good. Nice split away by SOO. But the real question is SOO going to be able to get more units in another department when you've spent that much money on the Spire? And so far, the answer is really not that much. It's, I mean, 15 roaches to 14. SOO will have a 6 roach lead. But really the big note for him is actually going into a Hydra den. And this is a very, very old school style of ZVZ where you actually get into Hydras and then potentially Lurkers as well. And we've seen that is a style that has kind of gone away recently, where it's really either, you know, roaches and then into the mutas, or just Ling Bane into muta. And the Hydras are really added on just for the Lurkers in the late game.
And what I think is going to be an interesting piece to this is the mutas find a lot of value when there's nothing that's really going to be able to engage them out on the map. But with the Hydra Den being produced here, that's going to change a lot of that perspective here. Queens are going to be available back at home as well. They also have +1, so those are going to be just a little bit more effective. But here comes the imbalance. What kind of unit count does DRG have back on his side of the map? It's 29 roaches to the 37 roaches of SOO. So well within the margin of error here. DRG could be able to hold this back, but he does have to be very careful. These mutas will want to find additional amounts of damage as well. But here comes SOO coming in with his roach army. In fact, he's actually getting choked up right now. Not going to be able to get the concave that he's looking for. DRG can capitalize on this mismatch, and he will. It's 31 to 16 roaches now, and largely these mutas have not been dealt with yet. Finally, now we're starting to get some Hydras out here, but in small numbers. That's not going to be near enough to push this back and away. Finally, they do regroup, but it's going to be major losses here for SOO.
Yeah, and SOO doesn't even have really a 4th base update. He has the 4th hatchery, but he's not mining from it. And that's going to be a big deal as this, I mean, this worker transfer comes through, but it's on to the 3rd base. Hydras are finally out. Grew Spines, though, not done. It doesn't have, I believe, Muscular Augments is not even started. And, I mean, the only real advantage for SOO right now is that you have +2/+1. You have that Carapace upgrade, of course. And with the Hydras, your ground army will fight a little bit better. They have the additional range over the roaches. But you just saw DRG there. Has a great concave, knows that SOO is going to try and attack him, and also has Ravagers available for that additional ranges. Here comes the fight, and DRG says, I just want to commit on in. I know that I have a whole lot more than you, and he's absolutely correct. The Hydras trying to do as much as possible. That +1 Carapace does not feel like it's going to be enough, and DRG is just going to be able to crush through this first game.
Concave, I barely know her. Okay, I got to workshop that one. 20 drones. Gonna go down in total. I mean, the 3rd base is effectively lost here. 30 in total when it's all said and done. And the remax potential here for DRG, 169 to 84. DRG's feeling nice here at the 10-minute mark of this game. He's gotten effectively just game-ending damage done here to his opponent. I think SOO is going to try and maybe amass as much as he possibly can, but his production is in shambles. His bank is non-existent. That +1 Carapace upgrade is about to be nullified here by DRG, as that upgrade is going to be coming down, and Muscular Augment's only now getting finished up here. It's too little too late for the Red Zerg.
It just does not look good here for SOO. The 4th base is going to get sniped. DRG showing that his ZVZ is very much still in good shape. GG. DRG is going to take game number 1.
Or like DRGG. That one's better. I'm going to keep that one. Right. I'm writing that one down here.
If I'm not wrong, I do think SOO just does not have a clan tag. But he is playing for the... previously the Afrika Freaks, now obviously the Guangdong Freaks.
You are correct. I stand corrected for the Guangdong Freaks. This is SOO. Hooray.
Yep.
Done it. Yeah, no, I appreciate the correction there. I was kind of thinking, I was like, gosh, it just seems crazy that he is not being homed by a team, but that makes perfect sense here. That's who he was with before he went to the military, right?
I am not entirely sure.
Was it Chivo? He was with Chivo at one point, because that was one of, I think that was when he won Katowice.
Mm-hmm.
That was when he finally secured his first place win, was when he was playing with Chivo. But I'm not sure if Chivo just let him go right before he went to the military. I'm actually not sure. I'll have to look that up. But good to know that he's with the Guangdong Freaks now.
Yeah, it was, I think in 2016 he was with SKT, and then Chivo in 2019 before he left, and then finally as he returned, joined the Guangdong Freaks. So yeah, they probably did drop him as he left. But look, we're gonna be getting on into game number 3, regardless of teams and things like that. But yeah, it is interesting, and I actually. Speaking of that, we obviously had that rebrand for the Afrika Freaks. Now rebranding with their new sponsor or their new partnership. Not the biggest team though. If you're actually looking at it, of course, previously Afrika Freaks did have TY and Stats, but they are both in military service. And then Dongergu did transfer over to Team NV. So actually, DRG, mind you, for a lot of people, did used to be on the same team that SOO was a part of before Team NV came about and got a lot of players. But right now, their roster is just SOO, Trap, of course, Keen, Armani, and then also Alive is still considered active. Although I haven't seen a lot of, him actually playing recently.
Well. I suppose we should probably speak about the game here. It seems like we are going to start getting underway. A little bit of excitement here. Both players going to continue droning up. We haven't seen a large swell of Lings, but we are now going to see a bit of a different path taken for both players. Both players going to go for Carapace upgrades. +1 for both sides. The Roach Warren's going to go up for SOO as well. DRG has scouted that. He did get that Ling up towards the front and was able to see the Roach Warren in the wall. Whether or not he was able to click on it, that's an entirely another question. But it does just seem to be that maybe both players are not going to go terribly heavy into the Ling Bane stages here. We're going to get a little bit of it. I think it wouldn't be a Korean ZVZ if we didn't get a little bit of Ling action. But I think the reality is that this is going to maybe jump straight into Roaches for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and an interesting fact, as I've been looking up stats here, looking at information, something interesting that I noticed. DRG actually. So I said, DRG's ZVP, not his best matchup. Currently though, in his form, which of course I believe is in the past, 40 days, something like that. On a Liglac, they consider that the current form for the player, as we do have the Baneling skirmish there at the front. Nothing really going to go down though for either player. 3 Lings have fallen for DRG. And actually, this is this round onto the Queen. SOO, I don't know if you're going to be able to snipe it in time. Does just pull away. Gonna have a few links trying to get those banelings. Oh, still trying to go for that queen. He's gonna be able to find a few drones. Only gets the one though, and actually loses a lot of his lings. Can't get the queen still. That really does hurt there for SOO, but has roaches on the back of this, has continued. Zergling production, of course, is at a pretty decent work count with the 47, but as I was saying, DRG's current form in ZVZ is actually not that high. He only has a 30% win rate, but even with that, I think showing some very, very good play in these games. And of course, mind you, those games versus Zerg are mostly against, Dark, Solar, Ragnarok. Serral was a few in DreamHack Masters. Armani, of course, I think is one that Armani is, of course, in good form, but I haven't seen many Armani games recently to really be able to tell where he is. It's not DRG's best matchup at the moment, and even then, still being able to bring it here against SOO.
Well, we got a fourth base coming down here for DRG. He tried to push it across the map and didn't really find the engagement angle that he was looking for. So just decided to go back, and SOO's going to do apparently the exact same thing here. Get out to the center of the map and go, well, what if we didn't throw all of our roaches away? Very easy to just walk those back while they are still alive and kicking here. But I think he might have seen the Overseer coming in and maybe was a bit anxious on what might be lurking back behind that. So Hydra Den is going to be coming out. Everything starts to unfold in a smaller way here for DRG, but it is going to be a commitment into the ground forces here, and I think he's going to try and maybe show SOO how it's done when you incorporate Hydras in here. But look at all of these Overlords. Oh my gosh, there's just like so many. I've got to look at his vision on the map. He can practically see the whole map here. Titan, this is ridiculous.
I mean, DRG right now is playing campaigns there. He says, listen, I'm going to send Overlords out in every direction. You can't stop me, SOO. And, well, right now, SOO can't. Doesn't really have Ravagers. He's going to finally add on 5 to be able to snipe those Overlords. But look at that. Lurker Den already on the way for DRG. And this is kind of how we usually see Zergs incorporate the Hydras into their comps. You're going to get very small numbers of them. The main force is going to be your Roaches for skirmishing in the mid game. And then you get out a few Hydras. They will be able to help fight from the back lines. But the main reason why you're getting them is, of course, for that morph into the Lurkers. Is, uh-oh, 2 Ravagers here automatically getting caught out for SOO. That's just a little bit sloppy. As now upgrades are coming through, Glio Reconstitution is finally going to finish up for the Red Zerg. Both of these players on 4 bases. Sitting, 74 workers for DRG, 66 for SOO, so he does have the larger army in technicality. We're going to see if he can make that work in this fight. So far, the trade's going pretty evenly. 4 Roaches go down for either side. Corrosive Vials being thrown down. SOO just having to micro back as DRG just has an Overlord stuck to this army, making sure he knows exactly where it is. And what the positioning is for SOO. If he's going to pull back, he's going to keep going in, and the skirmish is just continuing to go on. The Corrosive Vials finally going to find some connections there for SOO, but it doesn't feel like he's really finding much success right now.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to mention that this Overlord of DRG is just trying to poop creep as fast as possible here. And it's just not like even getting a chance. It's like, guys, slow down. Come on. I'm just trying to make some creep for you here. Oh, man, SOO, though, gonna shove on in here. There's been a lot of chaos in this engagement. There's a lot that we haven't even had a chance to talk about. The Baneling drop at the natural of SOO that got 9 workers here. DRG is now just finally bought enough time for Lurkers, and he still has a sizable army here to protect them. But there was a Zergling run by into the main. There was a Baneling morphin in the main. There was so much that took place in that engagement, and it felt like DRG managed to hold all of it in its entirety here. He keeps the army supplies almost dead even here, 172 apiece, but it's the 57 worker count of SOO that's going to start catching up with him soon if he's not careful. These Lurkers are going to start getting a little bit of damage here. They're not positioned in such a way that they're going to deal crazy amounts of damage, and it's only 2 of them as well. But it is still good support damage that DRG needs to be able to hold this position, because right now he does have a slight disadvantage. It's 28 to 28 roaches, but not all of those roaches are in the right location to be a part of this engagement. So the lurkers incredibly valuable here as Biles raining down on both sides. More Ravagers coming in here for DRG as well, but Su's just having a difficult time breaking this, and finally it looks like he's going to have to back off because DRG has just taken a massive supply lead.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the work count there, 71 to 62. Su has not been able to get back up, I mean, to a similar worker count, but honestly in ZVZ, you don't actually want to go much above 68 workers is the count that we see a lot of players sit at, just because you need to have this massive army, especially in Roach versus Roach Wars, as those Corrosive Biles are very, very good by DRG. Does have that tunneling clause as well, so he can start to try and find Roach run buys if he would like. It does have 3 moving out here on the right side of the map. He's going to burrow them and try and find his way towards that 4th base. But Su, it's been constant pressure, and it really hasn't been working out. Both players with +2 now, as the Corrosive Bile is going to go down. DRG has to be careful here with these engagements. Can't get caught out with a small force of roaches at this base, as Su continue to try and press in, but the lurker spines are just getting so much value. And 4 workers go down, just these 3 roaches that are snuck across the map by DRG.
Oh yeah, this is incredibly good control here by DRG, not allowing Su to really capitalize on the situation, but here he goes. Su gonna push on in. These lurkers are trying to fire in multiple different locations. It is going to be stacking kills here, but now DRG has won the battle. He finally tipped the scale, and he is going to send Su down to the losers match in this group. GG is called, and DRG advancing to Code S.